Agility, people as key asset for manufacturing growth. This discussion focuses on people as the most important asset for manufacturing growth. I invite our moderator for this session, Mr. Varun Vaid, who is the Business Director at Wazir Advisors, a seasoned strategy consultant with 2 decades of global experience in textile and apparel sectors. Mr. Varun Vaid is a seasoned strategy consultant with over 2 decades of experience across the textile, apparel and technical textile sectors. He leads the textile and apparel strategy vertical at Wazir Advisors and has successfully guided a diverse range of projects for private enterprises, industry associations and government bodies across the globe. Mr. Vaid has also collaborated with several international development agencies worldwide, bringing deep insights and a global perspective to the industry. Welcome, sir. May I now invite esteemed panelists for this session, Mr. Shiran, Boteju, COO, Brandix, India. I would like to call you again on the dais, sir, for this panel discussion also. Ms. Ratna Singh, Industry Expert, HR. Ms. Ratna Singh is a seasoned people's leader with 25 plus years of global experience in organizational development, change management and digital transformation. She has successfully led entity site setups, acquisitions and talent strategies across diverse industries and geographies while building inclusive, people-centric cultures with strong engagement and retention. Recognized with multiple HR excellence and leadership awards, she brings proven expertise in shaping high-performing, diverse and future-ready organizations. So I hand over the stage to our panelists and our moderator for this session. Welcome everyone.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon everyone. It's my privilege to be here and moderate this panel talking about organizational agility and how the people as an ingredient is really important for this organizational agility. So if you look at today's manufacturing landscape, so machineries can definitely be bought everywhere, it is all the same. Technologies can be replicated and capital certainly can be borrowed, but the real differentiator, the real sustainable edge in competitiveness lies really in the people. If you look at our industry, garment industry per se, it is estimated by someone that almost 12 million people work in the industry, garment industry, organizing unorganized setups. And so that makes us perhaps the second largest employer after agriculture in absolute industry terms. But the unfortunate part is that if we talk about absenteeism or attrition per se, we are among the worst compared to other manufacturing industries. Our attrition rates are, it's estimated about 30 to 35% more than any other manufacturing setup. So that's a kind of a big red flag if you look at it. Another very striking feature was there was a report done by ILO some years ago which said that even if we look at the manufacturing setups, garment manufacturing setups in a particular area, so the variation of productivity or efficiency or output could be in the range of 60%. So the best and the worst would be, there would be a gap of 60% in the output. And the reason was not in terms of machineries or material, but it was the way the workers were engaged with, the way they were skilled with, and the leadership. With that context, I'm honored to have the seasoned professionals with me on the panel. We have Shiran, we have already heard from him in the morning, so he brings in a dual perspective of operations as well as HR because he led the function in this organization currently before this portfolio. And then Ratna is a veteran in HR. She not only has the experience of working in this process in garment manufacturing, but other industries also, KPOs, the consulting process, etc. So you bring in kind of a best of the both worlds. So just to set the ball rolling, I'd like to ask both of you that what does manufacturing agility mean to you in terms of the garment manufacturing, especially for both of you, and especially looking at the business, which is like very volume driven, very fashion driven. So, what does organizational agility really mean?
Basically, the agility, how we faster, how we make our people to make them align for a change. That's what is agility. And if you now, let's say, we have a previous panel, 3 of customers have spoken about compliance, quality, and the delivery issues. All this will come with this agility, and I think faster you will make the team for a change, that will be more easier than anything to make the business.
Any comments? Yeah.
So I've seen actually a lot of sectors. I worked with consulting, I worked with ITS, I worked with e-commerce, and now manufacturing. And I think one thing which is really starting different is obviously labor intensiveness and the depth of HR processes. But I think what I've learned, and from my perspective, agility is no different for any industry. Agility, in my view, is you take a decision and you move forward. Right? Maybe I think
it's a simpler term, but
yeah, and that's not something that I've seen, or I've seen it differently in manufacturing.
Right.
I think we do tend to take a lot of time in making those decisions, and then it has a different effect. Very clearly, everything gets delayed. To me, I think that's the most important. Take a decision and move forward.
So, because of your dual background in HR as well as operations, so do you see any kind of a change in the organization structure, specifically for the large factories? Because on one side, the buyer requirements are not only speed, but you also have to take up cognizance of the compliance requirements as well as the employee welfare requirement. So how do you see the organizational structure in large factories changing in order to address all these challenges?
Yeah, now let's say for the 3 to 4 years back, we had a kind of a structure evolved with the functional way.
Right.
Basically, the HR being practiced as a separate function, manufacturing practiced as a separate function. Then it's a kind of a very functional way of operating. Then a lot of silos being played into the picture for those functions. Then the collaborativeness we have not seen that much. And at the same time, to make the decision making, it got very late. Now let's say for the earlier the plant structure starting from machine operator to plant GA, we have a kind of a 7 to 8 layers. Let's say you name it machine operator, then the team leader, then the supervisor, then the executive, then the assistant manager, second head, you name it, every layers are there. Then to make the decision fast is you have to follow every sequence. That's when you empower the team and if you flat the structure, that will be the most efficient way, and that will empower the people not only for the focus on the manufacturing per se and the efficiency of productivity, it will create some kind of a responsibility to hold the quality and the rest of the other parameters also. Now say for example in the larger scale plant we have a kind of a 4 pillars starting from plant GA, the value stream manager. Value stream manager is the second in command for the plant GA. He is responsible for end-to-end, from cutting to packing and delivery. Then the HR is the kind of enabler where you have to make sure the training and development and the pay will go on time and the recruitment. But other than all the engagement and activities, everything is lies with the TSM manager. That's how you need to make.
So you mean to say the resource development kind of the people development kind of function does not lie with the core HR, but it is with the operations itself.
Exactly. Right? There has to be enablers to sponsor the specific technical areas, but the core function has to be responsible for the end-to-end responsibility. Then only you can you can keep the balance with the productivity and the quality and the people.
Right. That makes sense, of course. But again, so just I'm following up with the question. So, do you think this model can also work in because India again, there's a diverse set of industries, small, big, unorganized or not organized, different work. Is this only true for larger factories, or do you think that these smaller factories can also be looking into this kind of organizational hierarchy setup?
I think my perspective is if it is workable for the larger factories, for the smaller factories, no brainer. You can apply without having any doubt.
Okay, fine. So smaller setups comes with a different kind of a challenge, but that's fine. So that's fine. So coming to you, Ratna. So what kind of workforce models do you see that are working better in the garment manufacturing context? I mean, whether it is contractual, it's a kind of high scaling kind of a thing. What kind of models do you think are really suitable for Indian kind of a setup?
So I'll go back to the business scenario.
Okay.
I think we need to look at the business scenario.
Right.
I don't think there is consistent business across the year.
Sure.
And the buyers or your brands are asking for consistency, lesser attrition, so on and so forth. So I think there is a little bit of a dichotomy. I think in my view, what would really work is you need to have a permanent workforce, but it cannot be 100%. Because if you have 100%, because there are some lesser margins, you will end up letting go of people when you have a lean period. Companies have to survive, they're not doing which happening. So we need to follow a hybrid model where you have, there is a percentage which is permanent and then you have contractual employees.
Right.
I think communication is completely missing.
There's one aspect of it, like buyer, of course I agree what you're saying is definitely, but what about the, coming from a pure HR perspective, not from the buyer's lens. So what is the, I would say the reaction or the repercussion from the workforce itself? Because if they are working in a kind of a permanent workforce vis-a-vis the contractual, so what's the kind of repercussion that comes from the other side, the workforce side?
I mean, I also need to see that while I'm HR,
Yeah.
I am also helping the business to function and deliver.
Right.
So you need to have a little bit of practical viewpoint. But I don't understand your question. The repercussions have to be positive as long as you're being loyal to them.
No, so what I'm trying to say is that if you have to build this kind of a hybrid model where not only everybody is contractual or not everybody is on, what kind of HR initiative will be required to create that kind of a setup that people really understand that I have work for fixed days in a particular season and then I go out and maybe again it will be coming. So how do you really say that this is acceptable to the workforce also? Because from our side, of course, the business demands it, but it has to be conveyed in a proper manner to the workforce as well, right?
So when you have permanent employees, people need to understand, right?
Yeah. So how do you make understand? So that's what I'm saying.
So when you're not shuffling around. So if I have permanent employees and I'm not shuffling them around, I'm not too sure what else I need to explain to them.
Right.
What I need to tell them here is now that when the upsurge is coming, as far as the business is concerned, we are going to have some more people on a temporary basis because that's the peak time. Your jobs are always secure.
Yeah.
And more than explaining and communicating, I again think it is the actions that speak.
Right.
I can give them a lot of promises, but if I'm not able to kind of keep up to them, that's when a lot of disloyalty and
So trust building it.
everything. I mean, your attrition happens. I'm not too sure whether you have great productivity results or start to have all those negative impacts in the organization. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you mentioned about attrition, so I'll come back to you, Shiran. So I think you have controlled attrition to a great level, right? So we'll be definitely interested to hear. One is that what is the level that you're working on, and are there any unique models or unique things that you have done in your business to really control that attrition?
Yeah, if I say the number now, let's say in India earlier when I was in 2007 in ICAHT operation, then we were the last compared to Sri Lanka. Then it's a lot of pressure for me to reduce the numbers because comparison will happen from the Sri Lanka and India. But now I say I don't have attrition more than 2%.
2% per month.
Yeah, and even the daily absenteeism will come around below 5%. And basically it's a kind of how we proactive with the workforce and kind of a responsibility how are we going to for their leaders, let's say for the supervisor and management staff, and kind of a certain KPIs how are we going to build up. Now let's say for me even see as a region head, I am very keen on focusing on 6 to 7 first hour output. That will set the kind of the rest of the alignment previous day where the PSM manager and the production executive and the line leader has to do. They has to have a kind of a real engagement with the people. If you want to have a deliver the next tomorrow first hour, then you have to know the people who are the people not going to come to. That forecast accuracy we are monitoring from all that.
Oh.
Those practices are there, and at the same time we call this is called Rasadiya Hero is a single word.
Sorry?
Rasadiya Hero is a single word. It's focusing the total attrition and the absenteeism for all 28 units in the Brandix, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and India. There we are monitoring the attrition below 6 months, below 6 months, below 1 year. Then the kind of a total, when you come to the below 6 month attrition, if you monitor, if you focus, the total behavior part is totally different.
Right.
You need to have a kind of a caring person starting from the first, because let's say if I go for what we have built up there, let's say how I feel as a, even it's irrelevant for me, I'm a general manager, I'm a kind of a production manager or executive. If I go for a new plant, right, then how I can feel, there has to be someone to take care of it. In the same way it's as applied to the operator level. Now let's say our plants are big. You can't see from that corner to other corner. Just 4,000 people running for 6 to 2 to 10. Then you need to know from the first day itself for the first 7 days, where if there is an issue is there, how I going to reach out to my medical center. If there is any emergency, how I going to, where is the helping? There has to be some kind of a support structure. Those things we are very strictly monitoring, and apart from that, those KPI being allocated for the each plant level, that's how we are controlling the normal attrition.
So what I hear is that you have a system wherein there is a kind of a special caregiver person, you said? That is
it's a buddy system.
Okay.
It's a buddy system. That's also...
that's the kind of a separate HR person, or within the workforce you have somebody? Within some senior person?
Now we have since plants are bigger, we have a plant within the plant.
Okay.
Right. Let's say for the one module is, we have around 18 to 24 people module. Then we have one section around 12 modules.
Okay.
Then for that there is a production manager, production executive.
Right.
Then he has to take care of entire this thing. It's not that somebody else come and HR, because most of the companies for the attrition HR has to act.
Right.
In our case, it's totally different. The relevant production manager has to answer why absenteeism is high, why your attrition is high.
And when you say that you have less than 2% attrition, so what is the base? You said 4,000, or is it on what kind of?
It's like this. We have let's say for the 4,000, it's direct and indirect. Direct we call people who are straight away working in the machine. Basically, for the 4,000 plant, I have around 2,100 direct.
Right.
For the direct attrition is the main key number we are monitoring. That's
exactly. Great. Ratna, would you like to add something here?
I have a unique question for you. Which is, you said you have 2% attrition.
Yeah.
How do you manage your cost? Because if you have 2% attrition and it's the same people, and as aging happens, your cost per employee also would go and increase. And where do you make that churn happen? Which pretty much is a known science now that 7% is something that we churn, which is the bottom of the pyramid. So how do you manage that cost, and how do you manage to retain those people or keep them motivated, because you cannot be promoting everybody after every 2 years. So how does that kind of come together?
It's like this now. Good question. Now, since we are in one park, I have 20,000 people, 5 factories. Then there are a lot of opportunities. It's there in the structure, right? The rotation opportunities, and most because the talent pool we are looking at from the 3 parameters. When it comes to the executive, even from the operator itself, we have given those parameters. Then people are there coming up with the ladder. That's one side. And there are jumper pool where you need to create, that's another side. And yes, when you have a low attrition, the cost will go up. At the same time, we can, the other factor is we have a skill base. Then how you factor that skill base with the efficiency? That way you can compete with the market to get a better price from the customer and to deliver, and that's where the argument is coming from other side.
Basically what he's saying is that the retaining talent is getting in better returns compared to the 2% what he is sticker. But what are you to you? What have you done? Like 10% is like a very normal kind of an attrition which is there. So, but you said the 7 is also acceptable. What are the things that have been done in order to really see that people don't move at the fast pace which have been there? We have been seeing in all the clusters.
See, I think overall, if you're able to kind of show both financial growth as well as professional growth, people are going to kind of go ahead and stay. And if you can go ahead and give them stability, people are going to go ahead and stay. So pretty much all policies and systems and processes are...
Anything related to non-monetary recognition that has worked well? Maybe you can also add to that, of course. Monetary is one part, right? You can always give incentives and wages, so that's a kind of a standard process. But anything that can be thought of the non-monetary part?
I think public appreciation really helps very clearly when you, when the appreciation start happening inside closed doors, but it's actually happening in front of people. It makes the other person feel very nice. Second, extending it to their families is something that's worked very well for us.
Okay.
Where you're able to kind of show what the organization is all about and how does the employee really add value to the organization, and the family is able to see it. I think there's a much larger and a deeper connect that happens. That's from a non-monetary point of view. But at the end of the day, I still think the driving factor at that level, at the shop floor level, is the money and is that assurance, that I'm going to have my job and I'm going to get my growth. But if you're able to provide that, I think a lot of your issues are going to go ahead and be solved.
So the problem with money is that there is always somebody near to you, not to you, maybe they are separate, but in the cluster who might be willing to pay a little bit more. So if money is the only thing, then people will keep on churning. We have to think on those lines also, I'm sure.
But see, again, the point is, you need to kind of go ahead and get money along. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was saying, exactly.
And professional growth has to matter.
No, certainly. Without money, definitely, there's nothing which will
I
happen.
think you understood. What I'm saying is monetary and professional growth. Both of them have to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why not? And further, as far as non-monetary is concerned, which are big things, I think, in the manufacturing sector, the work environment that we go here and provide.
Right.
The employees, because it's really very, very different to the other industries. So the kind of work environment that you provide, the kind of leaders that you have, the kind of language that's actually gone ahead and used, the policies that are basically there for people, I think that kind of combines into a wholesome experience for the employee, which makes the employee kind of stay back.
Shiran, there is always talking about skill development, upskilling, etc. So, is there a way that you have figured out that how do you, meet the need of this upskilling, or let's say the demand for upskilling vis-a-vis the daily production challenges? Let's say people are required to undergo training, retraining, up-training, whatever it is, and then there is a kind of a daily production pressure also, right? Any skill development program would require people to commit a significant hours in the training part of it. But they are also supposed to be productive. So, is there any way you have addressed that?
Yeah, it's like this. It's a kind of a part of manufacturing part.
Okay.
Now it's basically the pre-preparation. Now we have a kind of a meeting call because I'm chairing that part. Because the PPC, the preparation part for the next month and next quarter. Then we are going through all the slides. Basically, it's a mandatory process. Each manager has to touch the product what you are going to produce, because most of the gaps what we have seen in most of the factories, the high level managers, they don't know what is happening in the ground.
Okay.
Right? That's we are very strict on. The managers, they need to know what's this product, what is the underwear, so what's that construction, how many lines are going. then only that focus will come. They can't be, that acceptance is not there. Then the preparation and the readiness, basically every quarter we are going through the sample. Then we are identifying the kind of a skill gap which is required for the next month, next 2 months. Based on that, we have a kind of a process called QCO, changeover. For that, we have a kind of a SDC section, Skill Development Center. Apart from the manufacturing flow, we have a kind of an excess. For example, if I have a 12 modules, right? I have a good operator who can do the multi-product. I have separate section 12 jumpers. With them, we are doing the training, which is going to do the style for the next month or previous month. That's how we are doing the upskilling. That is not part of the training center, or that is not part of the HR. It's a part of the manufacturing process. That's how we are focusing the skill.
I think we are very short on the time, so just before I close, so I'll just ask you if you'd like to share one best practice from your organization that you would be, really think that has worked well for your organization and that everybody in this room can really take advantage of for both of you.
There are so many.
Sorry.
I'm saying that what is the one best practice in the HR function that you have really implemented, which has got good fruits for you, and then the others can also take advantage?
It's not the best practice. It's a kind of how we have set up the ecosystem from top down to ground level.
Okay.
It's a kind of every time. Now let's say I have spoke about the previous this thing also, how we have transformed 200 expect to the 38 expect. How are going to retain the talent? It's basically only 3 areas we are going to apply as a best practice in the company. One is every leader need to ask in the interview, have you hired a correct talent? Right? That freedom will be given to every leader. But that responsibility also will be. Then you need to trust the person. Right? If you have a real talent, then you have to give the responsibility and you have to trust the person. Then if that person have a kind of a issue, you have to have a straightforward discussion. That engagement ecosystem you need to have in place in the factory or in the organization, that's we are diligently following. It will allow us to now let's say people will not stay with a doubt. There's every time opportunity when I have and leaders also will not stay will not say the opinion. Will say straight away you are performing, this one is very good, this is bad. That's it. That trust we have been created in the organization. I think that's what currently is working well.
Thank you.
So I think in one of the practices that has worked well and has given very good results is, when you are in global organizations, communication is always a challenge. So we have these leadership offsites, till the mezzanine leadership level, where the entire leadership of the group basically comes together. And I think there are a lot of discussions and all also that happen. But one very good thing that comes out of that is, which we call as knowledge Olympics, which essentially is, you identify, because, as organizations are moving forward, the world's moving forward, changes are happening, so you need to kind of keep adapt to it. There are these 5 or 7 business challenges, that kind of come out, which could be in any area, merchandising, operations. So what we go ahead and do after that is, you actually make these global teams, come together to form a core team to actually work on that issue. And there is a time plan, and there is a time when you need to kind of present complete business plan, ROI, so on and so forth. I think that not only kind of gets you the result in terms of what are the kind of things that you could go ahead and do, and you need to present it to the board, so on and so forth. But I think it also brings in a beautiful opportunity for people to actually get onto a global platform. So this parliament that keeps going around, that think global, act locally, I think really comes into practice then. For us, I think it's been very, very effective.
Yeah, one thing I need to tell as a best practice, because it's good that share that how we are doing the talent mapping inside the organization. That's something we are really following. That one, it's a kind of a performance versus the potential.
Okay.
Then we are mapping each and every individual from the staff level and executive. And let's say for me, there is a 3 people will get mapped who can replace me within 1 year. If it is not there, then if there is any person, then where the readiness will be coming for that person. If it's within 1 year, within 2 years, when it's within 3 years. That's working very well. And even let's say, if the mapping is not there for a Shiran Boteju in the organization, then we are mapping with the outside. Then that's something really working well for us. And then that's create a kind of a sustainability approach of the because we are in the manufacturing process. Then we are not in a kind of a time bomb every time, because we are very clear once you start this mapping and everything. Yes, this top and critical talent, we have this names mapped. Only thing is, how are we going to do the development plan for them to get ready for the particular job? That's not the that's really working well.
Thank you so much. So it's I would say it's a succession planning at a different level altogether. But very interesting to hear. The bell has rung twice, so I'll not keep everybody waiting. But if you have a quick question or two, we can take, and then we need to close the panel.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So when you said about agility, for me agility is all about the speed, the effectiveness, and also the sort of how do you balance it all, right? So in our industry, I think it is one of the things that we do on a daily basis. But one of the things that I feel, from being from HR, I feel status quo is one of the things that impacts it a lot. So from your perspective, like how do we really work it out for everyone, be it for operations or for the people perspective? And from my perspective, one of the things that I feel is when the status quo is being talked about, there are people at the top leadership, they have a certain mindset, and there are homegrown middle managers. Now these are one of the two who actually become one of the area where this agility in the truest form doesn't work out. So from your perspective and experience, how do we really balance it out that it works for the organization, for the betterment, and we're actually future ready?
All right. Very good question, and I'll answer it in points. I think the first, as I said, in agility, first of the foremost is somebody needs to take that decision. And I think that clarity in the organization has to be there. It can't be just one person always, who takes a lot of responsibility, but there isn't any accountability to it. So I think first is take a decision. You have to have a very smart organization structure. And by that, what I mean here is, everybody cannot own everything. You have separate departments or systems. There need to be owners for that, and those owners need to be accountable for those decisions, and then obviously action. But again, as I said, there's also an analogy. The fish starts to rot from the top. So if and then the point comes, if I'm not able to take a decision at the right time, it has a rippling effect. The decision takes more time, the execution takes more time, and there could be also a lot of other factors that would be kind of carrying on further to it, which just becomes into a negative spiral. I hope that answers.
Yeah, sort of, yes. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'd like to close the panel here. Thank you everyone for joining us, and the audience.
Thank you for an enriching session. May I now request Mr. Vivek Gupta, MD Team Kriyan, and Mr. Sharad Duggal, MD Shea Style, to please come forward and present the mementos to our moderator and esteemed panelists. Can we please have a group photograph? Group photograph.